Should we have a look at what's in the papers this morning?
Yes.
With assistant editor of The Spectator, Cindy Yu, and showbiz reporter extraordinaire.
Lovely to see you both again, yeah. And, of course, we've been marking World Holocaust Day. You've been having a look at that, Stephanie, in the papers.
Yeah, it's just today's the 79th anniversary of it. And, it's still... I can't believe that this actually happened in the world's history, like the largest genocide in the history of mankind, like 6 million Jews. And I think it's so relevant each year to mark these kind of days because it's so easy to forget how far we have come as a world, as mankind, and how far we still have to go in that sense, which makes it quite
Well, that's what the Holocaust Memorial Day is all about, is sort of trying to learn, remind ourselves of the terrible things that happened so they can't get repeated.
Yeah, and it's just... the theme for this year is the fragility of freedom, and I think that's something we can all be ignorant about and how often we take that for granted. So I think it is good that these days are spoken about, whatever your opinion is. I think it's good just to have a moment of just thinking about it.
I just think these, in a way, I think Holocaust Memorial Day should be more for people who are not Jewish, because the Jewish people will not forget.
No, they'll never forget.
They'll never forget. But it's the rest of us that need to remember.
It's the commemoration, it's the education as well, because the further we get away from living memory of the Holocaust, the more people will start to go into denialism, they start to question, or they don't even know about it. And what's concerning is that since October 7th, the Hamas attacks, that actually anti-Semitic attacks have gone up, not down. And, Stephanie was saying that how much mankind has come, but we also are capable of going backwards. And we're slipping backwards right now with anti-Semitism and with racism of many different sorts. And so that's particularly makes this a commemoration day quite a bittersweet one, really, I think. There are these Holocaust survivors in Israel now whose families were killed or held hostage in the October 7th attacks, and it's just... Yeah, it's terribly tragic, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when you hear those stories from people whose families have actually been impacted by the Holocaust, it becomes a lot more realer that the fact that this pain and trauma is still handed from generation to generation.
Yeah, it's just so upsetting, the whole thing, really, where we are at the moment. Can we talk, Cindy, about tobacco?
Yes.
Because this is in the Times this morning. Smoking is cool again.
Oh, smoking is cool again. Now, Stephen, I'm quite split on this story actually, because I do think smoking looks pretty cool. And basically, what's happening? Yeah, I do. See,
that's a very non-PC thing to say, I guess.
Oh, on GBNEWS.
Well, no.
And what this Smoke-Free Media, this organisation that tracks public representation of smoking, has found is that Hollywood also thinks smoking is cool again, and that actually in films that's come out in the last year, like Saltburn, like Oppenheimer, there were over 100 scenes of smoking in each of those films.
Well, that's not surprising because they're period movies.
Exactly.
And I think nothing sums up the sort of 40s and 50s more than the constant smoke.
Yeah, Saltburn is actually set in 2006/7, but actually its director has said that she deliberately did that because that was just before indoor smoking was banned in the UK. So basically, this organisation is obviously very concerned because it has been linked to people actually taking up smoking more because people like me are impressionable.
Don't you think the image of somebody with a cigarette sort of hanging out off their lip and smoke and the horrible stench of smoke, don't you find that repulsive image?
He looks so handsome.
Oh.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know if the producers... Come on. No? OK, well, that's great. That means that it's not working. No. So we can have more representation of smoking and more...
I'm a little bit like you. I sort of think the idea of a cigarette in a dark, sleazy jazz joint with a martini and all that. There's something quite romantic about that.
I think so. But that doesn't mean, you have to... We can separate art from life, right? I mean, we're all mature enough to do that, I think.
I think the image itself is just horrible.
I used to be a former smoker, but now I can't stand it. I can't take the smell of it. Everything about it I just find repulsive.
Me too.
Yes, I used to be a former smoker, Stephen.
Did you?
Yeah. More of a social smoker. I think that's where I was quite... you just be out, have a glass of champagne, and it just seems natural to have a cigarette in my hand, but now I can't take it anymore.
No.
OK.
Horrible.
Vile.
Tell us what J.K. Rowling's been doing, because this is astonishing.
Oh, she
astonishing.
She is among the celebrities. It's time for the rich and famous to pay up and pay their taxes. She is among the top earners in this country, and today, well, this month, she'll be paying £40 million worth of taxes.
40 million?
Oh my goodness.
No concept of
How
that.
much is she making?
That is a lot of money right there. And Ed Sheeran, he'll be paying £36 million
£1 in tax.
Yeah, but the second biggest taxpayer is Bernie Ecclestone. Obviously, he's had a long-running investigation. But guess, how much would you guys think he's paying?
Bernie?
Yeah.
Don't know. Oh, go on.
£652 million.
What?
But is that due to... Is that
the
back
18,
taxes?
yeah, back taxes.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
because he didn't pay for almost 18... Well, apparently he didn't pay for almost 18 years. But all that money...
So is he the second
Yeah,
biggest?
he's the second
Who's
on the list.
Who's the first, then?
It's a hotel.
It's a Russian tech baron called Alex Gerko, and I can't remember exactly how much he's paid, but he's paid more tax than Bernie Ecclestone.
In Britain?
Yeah.
In Britain. Yeah.
Well,
and
I'll tell you what,
renounced his Russian nationality.
Couldn't you build a few hospitals from all of that
Yeah.
stuff?
What happens to that money?
Well,
That's
goes
the
into
thing.
the
Goes into
coffers.
the pot. Yeah, it just goes into the
Well,
pot.
Jeremy Hunt will be happy with all
But I
these
will be
people
happy,
paying
I think
money.
analysts were actually saying that the super rich have paid less this year
Yeah.
than they did before,
Oh.
because actually they all have companies, and company profits have been depressed because it's a bad economic situation, so they pay less corporation tax. But it's the rest of us paying income tax
Yeah.
that because of inflation we've been dragged up a tax bracket. So what's actually happened in the last year is that even though these people are paying so much money, they're paying less relatively, and it's us who are paying more through income tax.
That's the
because we don't
argument,
have-
but that's actually the argument for lower taxes in the higher tax bands. and
Yes,
lower business,
absolutely.
because then they don't try and,
Go somewhere.
go somewhere or filter it away with an account.
Yeah.
They pay more. The tax take goes up with all that stuff. Politically, it doesn't look good. That's
Yeah.
the trouble. Oh, dear. All right, ladies, well, on that weird note, I don't know whether to feel good now or bad about my tax bill. I'm getting away with not paying very much compared to those people.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed. Good to see you this morning. Loads of you getting in touch about conscription this morning. Viv is outraged that they should hint at conscription for our young boys and girls. Yeah, it's not going down very well.
They're all snowflakes.
Here's the weather.